Going on, everybody? All About Outdoors here, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about selling firewood, and I say everything lightly because this is going to be a lengthy video, but I'm going to cover a lot of important information when it comes to selling firewood, what I've learned over the course of selling firewood, and just how I manage it. So I'll start with my backstory. I started about 5 years ago. My buddy's grandpa was having his farm logged. It was right around 5 acres worth of wood. They had a bunch of excess stuff that they didn't take with them, and my dad heats his house with wood in the wintertime. So I figured I'd help my dad out and get him some wood. I ended up going overboard, and he had a lot more wood than he needed. But hey, free wood is free wood. Push come to shove, he just couldn't use it all. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do with all this excess wood? I didn't want to just let it rot away. And this is before I watched any firewood videos on YouTube, and it was just a raw thought. And then I figured maybe I'll sell some bundles. So I started that in November of 2020, and that's what I did. I made a 12 bundle firewood stand. In the beginning it was a slow start, just getting people to notice the stand. I used orange cones by the road as an attention grabber, and it seemed to work. People started taking notice, and it started to sell almost a little too well. So I got to the point where I was restocking at the end of every day, when I quickly realized I needed to make a new rack that held more bundles. So at any given time now I have 40 bundles out at the stand. Most people buy in 4 or 5 at a time, so that's how I got started on firewood. So in November 2020, I started selling face cords for $125 plus delivery. I quickly sold out, and in January of 2021, I switched to $150 a face cord plus delivery. Still sold out. November of 21, I switched to $165 plus delivery, and I've been selling out ever since. And some of you might be thinking, geez, that's a lot for a face cord. It really depends on the area. Maybe it is in your area, but it's about average for my area. Also keep in mind, I buy and I go and pick up already split firewood a lot of the time. $75 a face cord is usually where I do my cutoff limit. I don't really like buying firewood that's over 75. It's just not profitable enough. And I offer to buy everything they had if they discounted it a little, which usually works. Also, we live below a place that every house is like $1 million plus, so none of those people up there bat an eye at $165. You might not do as well if the market is saturated with firewood around you, but if nobody's doing it, I would definitely give it a try. So the first thing I learned was always keep enough wood to keep your bundles stocked. I started selling too much in bulk, and I quickly learned save enough dry wood to keep up with your bundles. They're the main source and make the most money per unit sold. Mine are $5 a bundle, about 8 to 12 pieces of wood in each, depending on the size of the pieces. Roughly a cubic foot. So in a perfect world, you should be able to get about 120 bundles out of a full cord. And I'll let you do the math there. Second thing is, sourcing firewood became an issue for me. I literally could not find dry stuff or buy it fast enough, which brings me to my next point. Plan ahead of time if you plan on trying to sell firewood. Make some new friends. For example, local landscape places that accept tree guy dump spots, the tree guys themselves, any friends of friends you might have that would have ties with someone who's a logger. Just explore your option, because there is absolutely no worse feeling than having to tell your customer you ran out of wood when they are depending on you to keep them supplied. It just shows them that you're kind of unreliable, and chances are they have to go somewhere else. My next point being is, when you're first starting out, my motto has always been quality over quantity. Don't try and sell the most wood you can. Try and sell the best wood you can. Better quality equals more money. The smaller the amount you sell, the more money you make. Bundles are the way to go, and word of mouth is the best advertisement you can have. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, they're okay, but one person tells another and the snowball just starts rolling. Also, if you're looking for firewood on Facebook and Craigslist, don't just take whatever firewood is available just to get it. Make sure it's decent stuff, no bugs, no rot. I've never had someone deliver me firewood for that reason. I just don't think you know what you're gonna get, including tree companies. They're probably one of the worst. Also, don't take any pine unless it's for like a specific customer that has an outdoor wood burner. You could get pine at any given time for free anywhere you look. Hardwoods only is the way I go. I do have one person with a wood burner that I get a mix of pine and hardwoods for. He doesn't care. The three most common hardwoods around me are cherry, maple, and red and white oak. Also, don't be afraid to say no to a customer, while it be selling firewood to them or buying firewood from them. If they don't buy your firewood because of the cost or whatever reason it may be, somebody else 100% will. It might take another week or two, but it will sell. So whenever you're getting started as a hobby versus a main source of income is two totally different stories. I started as a hobby and grew too quick. That was one of my first mistakes, was too much wood going out, not enough wood coming in. So getting into starting to sell firewood, the things I would consider buying if I were just getting started selling firewood is a small truck, even if it's a decent looking beater, possibly a trailer if need be, a small chainsaw, some protective equipment like glasses, glove boots, chaps, hearing protection. All that stuff is definitely a must. Definitely buy a moisture meter. You could get them online for like 25 bucks off of Amazon, 30 bucks. Get a perfect stick or a Mingo Marker or something that makes it easier so you don't have to use chalk and a ruler on your firewood. If you do start selling a good amount, definitely start considering a log splitter over an axe if you're going to sell more than a few face cords. Unless you want to be that guy, go for it, but log splitter is my go-to. So when I started selling wood, I was lucky enough to already have 3 trucks. I had a 98 Silverado. I bought an 04 when I was 18, when I started my lawn care business. And I bought a 2011 Silverado 2500. Also, I had a 5x10 trailer already due to the lawn business, so I was set already on transportation. Then I bought a total game changer, which is a dump insert for the bed of the 98. I think I bought it off of Craigslist used for $3,400. So if you're like me and already have a truck that's paid off, maybe look into a dump insert. It's a total back saver and time saver in the long run. Totally worth the money. And it's not just to use for firewood, you can use it for whatever really. So I started with the 98 with a dump insert, an MS 170, and a log splitter that I bought off a rental company that I used to work for $400. I will list my whole setup in this video on a spreadsheet of all of my equipment I have involved with firewood, so you can pause it and glance over it. So at this point, I was just into the firewood end of things, about $800 between the saw and log splitter, not including cost of the vehicle and the dump insert. Shortly after, I started putting too much wood through the little splitter and it crapped the bed, but I can't complain because it's made its money back 10 times over, so I wasn't worried about it. And I went to Home Depot and I bought the Champion 34 ton. And if you guys are looking for a good non-commercial residential use log splitter, it is a crazy good log splitter for the cost. I can't say enough about it. I just started it for the first time in like 3 months the other day. Choke, one pull, literally first pull started right up. Also, it just saves me a lot of time. Just powers through the big stuff quicker than the 24 ton did that I had. But that log splitter at the time put me back another 1,600 bucks. Always overshoot on the tonnage on box store splitters. For the extra maybe $200 or $400, if you can step up 5 to 6 tons or more, just do it. save up a little bit longer and just do it. You won't be sorry with the results. So then I started buying firewood wherever I could get it at. So I started looking at dump trailers, and I was planning on buying anyways for mulch and landscaping season. So the dump trailer put me back about 9 grand at the time, and that was then. Probably now the same exact trailer would be around 11-ish. Then I started looking into bigger and faster cutting saws. I bought an MS-251 because I ran over my 170 with the Bobcat. And then an MS-271. And then a buddy of mine asked if I was interested in another chainsaw, an MS-461 with a 32-inch bar, and he only used it 2 times. And the blade was still sharp on it, practically brand new. So obviously I said yeah, so I bought it off him for $1 grand. So at this point, I have every saw I need. Also, accessories came into play. I bought the Mingo Marker and the Perfect Stick to make sure measuring 16 increments was way faster. I also bought a new dump insert for the 2011 Silverado, but I bought that brand new, $6,200. All aluminum, don't gotta worry about it rusting and stuff, with a tarp kit. Next thing, I was making firewood bundles, and I just couldn't crank them out fast enough. And then I seen Ohio Woodburner put out a video on a firewood wrapper, and I believe he has the Twister firewood bundler, and I really liked it. So I was looking at their prices and the speeds and different videos on YouTube, and I found it to be the most cost-effective and one of the faster ones. So I bought the high-speed quick load firewood bundler made by Twister Industries, and it was an absolute total game changer. I got it for $3,300 shipped. It's probably one of the best pieces of equipment I bought so far. And if you guys want to see, and I hope you see this part of the video because this is one of the most important parts, I'll attach a spreadsheet of my old bundler, my old homemade bundler made out of 2x4s and a milk crate, versus my new bundler, and how much cost versus profit between the two they make. And those are just my numbers, and they will vary with the cost of your wood or labor, whatever you're paying a helper, etc. If there's anything you learned from this video, it's these 3 things. Number 1, always keep track of what you spend and earn down to the last penny, because the little things like fuel, labor, maintenance, bar and chain oil, chainsaw chains, safety gear, if something breaks, you have to replace it. Those are all of the little things that add up very quickly. Even buying new pairs of gloves, because if you're like me, you love leaving them everywhere and they get ruined or lost. Accidents happen, obviously, and you will need to replace equipment at one point or another. For example, I ran my 170 over with the Bobcat, but hey, it gave me an excuse to buy a bigger saw, so whatever. But it just kind of sucked. It was like lighting $200 on fire and watching it burn. Also, I use a monthly planner to track everything for my bundles and my face cords, and use Excel spreadsheets. Just go on YouTube and look up how to use Excel if you don't know how. It's a super easy way to keep track of things, and it does all the math for you as well. All you have to do is set the formulas up. And I can't stress this next point enough, is number 2. Always use your profit money to buy the next item you need to excel in your business. Try to never pull it out of your own pocket unless you need to. You can never go belly up running a business this way. Sure, it might take some more time to acquire all the equipment, but you will know if your business is going to succeed or fail very quickly by doing it this way. Number 3, time is money when it comes to firewood. The less amount of steps you have to take to get the consumer a quality product in the least amount of time is the main goal. Even if it's moving the bundler 5 feet closer to the truck when you're bundling, or getting the firewood closer to where you have to stack it, those extra 4 to 5 steps you have to take add a heap ton of time to your work in the long run. I will attach in this video an Excel spreadsheet of all of my equipment, and I might just insert it right here, and you guys can pause the video and see how much I have invested. I do have more plans for expansion of the firewood side of things. I would like to get a firewood bin with a carport or something over it. I haven't decided yet what I want to do there. Just like Outdoors with the Morgans have with their bin they made out of the concrete blocks and concrete floor. Something like that, so I don't have to keep stacking. So in conclusion, when it comes to firewood, yes, it is worth selling. Yes, you can make some good money on it, but it is a fairly good amount of work, especially if you're going, cutting it down, bringing it home, splitting it, taking it somewhere, stacking it, waiting for it to dry, delivering it. You got to throw it in the truck, got to go to a customer's house, you got to stack it. It is a lengthy process. That's why they say firewood heats you up 3 or 4 times. Once when you're cutting it down, once when you're splitting it, once when you're stacking it, and once whenever you're going to burn it. Alright guys, so that's about all I got. So I hope this helped you answer some questions you had about selling firewood. I know it was a lot of talking, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and definitely give me some feedback in the comments. Leave me some questions, whether it be about my equipment setup or anything to do with firewood in general, even just curious questions. Alright guys, you know the deal. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.